Strack,
Here.
Weedman,
Here.
Mack,
Here.
LaCroy,
Here.
Meskel,
Here.
Braden. Here.
I believe that's a quorum. Let's recite the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Could I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
So move.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any questions about the agenda? Okay.
Meskel,
Aye.
Strack,
Aye.
Mack,
Aye.
Weedman,
Aye.
Braden, LaCroy.
Aye.
Motion carries. Are there any public comments? Anyone? Okay, go ahead. Could you take a mic?
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jonathan Reynoso. I am currently a D127 board member elect up until tomorrow. And I just wanted to introduce myself to those that I haven't had the pleasure of meeting. I hope to work with you and the rest of the board and along with our board in the future moving forward. And I wanted to invite all of you, everyone present, to the meeting tomorrow at 7 p.m. in the arena right below the library to come to the meeting, to see what's going on, also to witness the new people sit on the board. So, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Are there any board reports? Anyone has anything they want to share? Anyone?
Well, we had a curriculum meeting,
Okay.
and once again, things are moving quite well in the curriculum area. We did renew the K-8 math, and we agreed on the handwriting. Please tell me I'm getting way carried away.
Getting ahead of yourself?
So we had a good meeting, and we had looked over, we did purchase math for the next few years, and we did some other things with the curriculum, which I'll pass on to Paul later on.
Thank you, John. Okay. Superintendent report?
We are officially finished with our state testing. Yay! Took just half the time it has in the past because of our Chromebooks. Last night we had a great turnout for our staff recognition. It was very nicely done, and thank you, Sue, for all the work you put into getting that ready. Friday night we're holding the state, what is it officially called?
Well, you put her on the spot.
I'm going to. She's going to have us right here. There you go, Illinois Grade School State Music Festival here at Grays Lake on Friday night and Saturday. And Friday night is mostly the GMS. You last year did some introductions.
And I didn't get it right, so they got me doing it again this year.
Me too. So are you working on Friday night?
Friday night I'm working.
That's me too.
MC.
All right, there we are. And then today was an administrative professional day, and so say thank you to Sue one more time. That's about all we have.
Alrighty. Committee reports.
Oh.
Started down that road, but I guess Paul's going to finish it off.
Okay.
Well, either way, it doesn't matter to me. That's what it sounded like.
Meeting last week, we really did just review some of the presentations, the recommendations that are coming to the board tonight. Again, about the K-8 math adoptions and the K-8 science adoptions. And then we also talked about the first look at handwriting that's coming in the next meeting.
Yep.
In
May.
in the next meeting after this one tonight. So the second meeting is on that agenda. And so, you know what I'm talking about.
Sure we do,
With
yeah.
the new board, it's on the new board agenda.
Got it.
And so we talked about that. We also talked about the IAR assessments, and we also thanked the committee members who've been strong advocates for us, so we appreciate that.
And we have a diversity committee in a couple of weeks, but we're meeting on Monday to be looking at our transgender district protocol.
Any questions? Then we'll move on to the consent agenda. Could I have a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda, including the addendum to the personnel report?
Move.
Second.
Are there any questions?
Braden. Aye. Parkinson.
Aye.
LaCroy.
Aye.
Strack.
Aye.
Meskel.
Aye.
Mack.
Aye.
Weedman.
Aye.
Motion carries. Just a handful of action items this evening. Could I have a motion to approve the math and science curriculum purchases?
So move. Second.
Are there any questions? Could you refresh us as to what the cost was on that, just so we happen to know? I don't remember.
Yes, we're remembering that we're using the evidence-based funding money. We've chosen to have 6-year contracts for both of the elementary and the middle school. Amanda's going to help me with any of the details if I'm missing something. We're spreading out the 6-year contract over 2 years for each of those, and so the total, Amanda, help me.
It's 302, 71309
Yes.
for the K through 8, 241, 056 for 6 to 8.
Perfect. So
For math.
we're just getting to the numbers too. So, but we decided that that was a very significant cost savings to go 6 years for that. It greatly reduced the yearly cost, and we know the evidence-based funding is stable right now, and so it'll be good that we have stability for that program.
One of the things, that being an old math guy with department head and whatever, when we buy this, we get service as we go through the whole program. And in the old days, you bought this and you had it for 5 years or 6 years. Very, very good materials here, and teachers have excellent materials to use, and excellent teachers. What can go wrong?
And so the second portion of that was for science, and it was for a 2-year contract for $47,093.38. That's coming out of our typical teaching and learning budget, and so that's just something we budgeted for, planned for the science.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay. Go ahead.
Weedman.
Aye.
Meskel.
Aye.
Mack.
Aye.
Parkinson.
Aye.
Braden.
Aye.
LaCroy.
Aye.
Strack.
Aye. Motion carries. Next, could I have a motion to approve the 2019-2020 board meeting calendar?
Move.
Second.
Any questions? Okay.
LaCroy.
Aye.
Braden.
Aye.
Strack.
Aye.
Parkinson.
Aye.
Mack.
Aye.
Weedman.
Aye.
Meskel.
Aye.
Motion carries. Could I have a motion to approve the 2019-2020 administrator contracts as presented?
Second.
And second. Are there any questions? Okay.
Strack.
Aye.
Mack.
Aye.
Braden.
Aye.
LaCroy.
Aye.
Parkinson.
Aye.
Meskel.
Aye.
Weedman.
Aye.
Motion carries. And lastly, could I have a motion to approve the board policies as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any questions? Okay.
Mack.
Aye.
Braden.
Aye.
Strack.
Aye.
Parkinson.
Aye.
LaCroy.
Aye.
Weedman.
Aye.
Meskel.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next, this board having no further business, I move to adjourn CNADA.
And before we start our refreshments, we'd like to honor Tom and Kathleen tonight. Kathleen, your research knowledge has been so invaluable to us, and you've asked tough questions, ones that we've had to do a little research for, and that's good. That's what your role is on the board, to ask those tough questions, and we very are glad that you did that and made us reflect and think before we moved in the wrong direction, or if we did the right direction, at least you asked those questions. We appreciate your passion for equity and inclusion, as well as our environment. We know that those things are also very important to you. So we thank you for your service on the board. I wish you the best of luck. And Mr. Meskel, you have a passion for many areas. especially in the area of math and science, and you also have been very valuable in the curriculum area for us. No one can forget your great stories. You have lots of stories, and we always marvel at the new ones you come up with and how you can remember them, and it's beyond me. You've been very supportive of district events, and we are also very, very glad that you were on our board for all these years. So. I didn't know whether either one of you wanted to say anything.
I just want to say it's been an honor to serve our community, and I think the one thing that I would like to see continue is to try to be inclusive, so that diversity of opinion is great, but we need to make sure that we have an inclusive approach to the voices that we're listening to. And so I hope to see that with the new board members who are coming. Congratulations, and again, it's been an honor.
To the new board members, thank you for agreeing to serve. Just a couple hard pieces of advice. Rarely have I ever seen where a 4-3 vote meant anybody won anything. You still will be able to talk over what are the good parts of your view and what are the good parts of your view. I'd like to compliment the superintendent for hanging on all these years, because I can remember some board meetings where, wow, roller derby, that's nice, I think. And she held it all together, and I think we're very strong in curriculum right now, due to some other people too, but you gotta hire the right people, and this is a strong team. A couple other areas here. That lady right over there is one of the best administrative assistants I've ever seen. And another one, a group that I know we all try to compliment as often as we can, but sometimes there's wet, snowy days and et cetera, and we gripe. But this gang, these buildings are clean. And I go in different kinds of buildings every now and then for different reasons. But our school buildings are clean, and we have a right to be proud of them. One final thing, this is a little heavier here. This is a little heavier here. I was just reading through some old stuff. By the way, you'll find new board members that this is old stuff. It's only about 3 months old, guys. You'll find yourselves hanging on to a whole bunch of things. When our founding fathers put this whole thing together, they said, we have to have a populace who can read and can keep this organization going. You have to read to know who to vote for. That's where they started. But they also designed a rather intricate system of 3 branches of government. And we're at the point now with the way things are going in the country, and I'll just take some license and say this. We need to make sure our kids not only can tell you the 3 branches of government, but fully understand how they're supposed to work together. So please don't just ask them what are the 3 branches of government. Take some issues, it could be from the past, could be from today, and say where is any one of these sections of our government possibly in trouble? Because I'm concerned. And but I'm pleased to see we don't ask all the name the 4 this and then what year was this done and whatever. It's important to know some of those things, but we ask kids to tell why, and that's great. And please keep it going. The country needs it. It's been a pleasure, and I love schools.
I think it's probably time to cut a little cake.
Okay.
We need to finish the motion first.
Oh, we didn't
Yeah.
do it? Oh, I'm sorry, I was ready for the cake.
I'll need a second.
Second Stephen's motion.
Mesco,
Aye.
Parkinson.
Aye.
Strack,
Aye?
Braden,
Aye.
Mack,
Aye.
Weedman,
Aye.
LaCroy.
Aye.
Motion carries. We're in recess.
Now it's cake.
Now it's.
Now it's. Board members, come up front, please. Come over here. I've only done this like once before. I don't remember, but, that's fine, I think. So if anyone wants to take pictures, they go. Feel free to take pictures. Do we need to have them have one?
No, we're fine.
Talk loud? Okay. So I'll provide the oath and you just follow along. I state your name, do solemnly swear.
I, Sean Mannigan, do solemnly swear
That I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of member of the Board of Education
that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of member of the Board of Education
of Community Consolidated School District 46
of Community Consolidated School District 46
in accordance with the Constitution of the United States,
in accordance with the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the laws of the State of Illinois,
and the laws of the State of Illinois,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
I further swear that I shall respect taxpayer interests by serving as a faithful protector of the school district's assets,
I further swear that I shall respect taxpayer interests by serving as a faithful protector of the school district's assets.
I shall encourage and respect the free expression of opinion by my fellow board members,
I shall encourage and respect the free expression of opinion by my fellow board members
and others who seek a hearing before the board,
and others who seek a hearing before the board,
while respecting the privacy of students and employees.
while respecting the privacy of students and employees.
I shall recognize that a board member has no legal authority as an individual,
I shall recognize that a board member has no legal authority as an individual,
and that decisions can be made only by a majority vote at a public board meeting.
and that decisions can be made only by a majority vote at a public board meeting.
And I shall abide by majority decisions of the board
And I shall abide by majority decisions of the board,
while retaining the right to seek changes in such decisions through ethical and constructive channels.
while retaining the right to seek changes in such decisions through ethical and constructive channels.
Congratulations. So now we have to do the board reorganization. Take your seats there. I move to appoint myself as President Pro Tem.
Second?
Braden,
Aye.
Miller,
Yes, aye.
sorry, Mackey,
Three.
Mack,
Aye.
Strack,
Aye.
Weedman,
Aye.
and LaCroy.
Aye.
And I move, motion carries, and I move to appoint Stephen Mack as Secretary Pro Tem.
Second?
Braden,
Aye.
Miller, Mackey,
Aye.
Mack,
Aye.
Strack,
Aye.
Weedman,
Aye.
LaCroy.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now call the new board to order. You call the roll.
Braden,
Here.
Miller,
Here.
Mackey,
Here.
Mack,
Here.
Strack,
Here.
Weedman,
Here.
LaCroy.
Here.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have our nominations for the board officers. I would like to start by nominating Jim Weedman for president of the board. It's been an honor to serve as president of the board for the past 6 years. I think we've gotten a lot of good things done, but I think it's a good point in time for us to give Jim the mantle, and I know he'll be very effective in the role, as he has been a very effective vice president thus far. So thank you, Jim, and I nominate him for president.
Second?
Braden,
Aye.
Miller, Mackey,
Aye.
Mack,
Aye.
Strack,
Aye.
Weedman,
Abstain. I can't vote for myself.
sure you
Be
can.
wrong.
You can. LaCroy,
Aye.
Motion carries. Congratulations, Jim.
I'd like to make a nomination for vice president for Stephen Mack.
Second.
Braden,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Mackey,
Aye.
Mack,
I'll abstain.
Strack,
Aye.
Weedman,
Aye.
LaCroy.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a nomination for Christy Braden to be the secretary.
Second.
Braden,
Abstain.
Miller,
Aye.
Mackey,
Aye.
Mack,
Aye.
Strack,
Aye.
Weedman,
Aye.
LaCroy.
Aye.
Thank you.
Oh, it's going to be Christie.
I mean,
Oh, it'll be Jim.
Oh, that means I gotta work on my signature.
Yeah.
good luck. We're all counting
Yeah, thanks.
Are you leaving us?
on you. Are we moved?
Oh.
Hey, he's fucking somebody's paying attention. Did we just vote him out? Off the island.
I'm so used to him being here, I don't know what to do.
I'm told that. I don't know if it's true. Dude. Steven said that. Now you talk to me over here.
This might not be a good combination. Yeah, I know.
Could have just done some of this next one.
I feel dizzy.
Okay, so next on our agenda is the unfinished business. First one is the update on negotiations. You want to go over that, or you want me to?
Go ahead.
All right. Wasn't prepared for this. So we did meet again with the teachers and the PSRP unions to discuss kind of broad terms of what they're looking at, what we're looking at. Can't say we've actually, nailed down a common ground on a few things, but we're working there. We have dates out to actually go back to regular process of negotiations, kind of taking offers back and forth. So there's a shared list out there for dates that Sue put out. So if you can get a chance to go ahead and list what days you might be available, and we'll see if we can get the majority board as it's been working right now. Steve and I have been sitting on our side of the table with John and Ellen and our district attorney to kind of go back and forth. It's worked pretty well in the past, so we were looking to keep that kind of dynamic going. But when we bring anything back, it's always a full board decision on any agreements that we do. So when we have these smaller back and forths, you're welcome to come and sit in the kind of the sidebar room, I guess if you want to call it that, and kind of wait, and then we come in, we can all talk everything through. So if you get a chance, go ahead and put your availability down on that list. I think you sent it to them too, right?
Well, we have it, we wanted to wait until after the meeting tonight, and then when they can
We'll get it shortly.
officially be included, then we'll get that out tomorrow to everybody.
Okay, so you'll get it shortly. And we'll go from there. That's really about where negotiations are sitting at this point. Next is an update on the hardware abatement. I assume that's you, John?
Yes, so with the recent finalization of the tax levy, there's nothing that we can really agree to for this year. So because of that, we're actually taking some more time talking through various lawyers to try to figure out a good resolution that would be something that we would feel comfortable bringing to the board. And it's a conversation that we're working through with the village as well at this point. So I don't have any new updates about that, but we've agreed on some parameters of a new possible option. But we're still kind of working through that with our lawyers to see if this is actually a viable legal option that we can pursue. So I'll have some more updates hopefully at the next board meeting.
Just to make sure the village is aware and communicating back and forth, so it's not like we're ignoring them. So they're aware of what's going on.
Any questions?
How's Harper feeling about the timing? You know?
We don't have any clue. We haven't heard anything. We've been working directly with the village.
Okay, and they've been.
Yeah, and they've been
contacted.
communicating with Harker, yeah.
Okay. Next is new business. These are issues for the board to discuss. No action will be taken at this meeting. They're just to give us our first look at at the information. First one is discussion of handwriting curriculum.
So that's me. That's what I meant by the second meeting. So we wanted to introduce you
Oh,
to the.
you meant tonight.
Yeah, tonight. So, sorry for my non-clarity about that. So we talked about it at the Evaluation Curriculum Committee, that actually at the last meeting, we also shared on that same day that we had a group of teachers who came together for a second time to review handwriting, just to give everyone the update about that. We had requirements by the state mandates for cursive handwriting in particular. Then those disappeared, and then they've come back. And so we do have some students who were in those gap years. We'll have to figure out what we can do to offer for those students. But we had a very committed group of teachers who looked at multiple resources, and we have our first information for you in the packet about 2 different programs. For K2 classrooms, we would really like to present as an option a program called Handwriting Without Tears from a company called Learning Without Tears. We felt like it was very developmentally appropriate. This is for manuscript, so printing. Our OT staff was very involved also in this decision. It's a multisensory approach to handwriting. And so we have a proposal for our K2 classrooms and all the ancillary people. So EL staff, special ed staff, OTs, so that they all have a consistent program to use for manuscript. And then moving from that, the very favorite, in 3rd and 4th grade, we've chosen a program we'd like to recommend, a program called Zahner Bloser. And we felt like it was a good transition from the Handwriting Without Tears to Zahner Bloser cursive. And so we purposely chose not to use handwriting without cursive, without handwriting without tears, the cursive component, because it didn't match our needs and the style. And so we felt like Zahner Bloser was a much better option for us. And so we have, we're glad to answer any questions about that. These funds would come out of our teaching and learning budget as well for things that we budget for. So it would not be anything additional, just part of our budget process for Handwriting Without Tears and Zahner Bloser cursive handwriting. The teachers are excited that we have a consistent program and a consistent approach to address the needs of students. Amanda, did I miss something? No. Okay. So that's what our information is. We would like to have, we're requesting approval at the next board meeting so that we can get started. We already have tentative dates booked on the calendar for full professional development for both of the programs and for all grade levels that will be impacted by that. So we have those on hold in case we get that approved at the next meeting. So we wanted to be prepared. The beginning of the year is always hard, so we wanted to get our names in the books so that we had them on the days we wanted. We're glad to entertain any questions.
The only question I had was on the first one for the Writing Without Tears.
Mhm.
You had 2 different cost numbers. You had 39,000, then you had one at 30,000. So I think it was just a typo, but just so we can correct that for the next.
We will for sure
one.
correct that.
Good catch.
I think I do read it.
appreciate it. Any other questions? Just the whole concept that handwriting is not meant to be a major subject as it had been many years ago. It was a core curriculum. That handwriting was right up there with science and social studies at that time. There was a significant amount of time spent on it. We're looking at 10 to 15 minutes a day, maybe 4 or 5 days a week. So we're not talking about a lot of time, but with consistent practice, the program suggests that we're able to make good growth with it.
Okay. Any questions? Anything else? Okay. Next is the discussion on the Arbor Management Food Service contract.
We've been very satisfied with the level of service that Arbor's been able to perform. Most recently, we've been very happy with their performance at a National School Lunch Program audit, where the auditor who came from the state, who is known for her thoroughness and her passion for the field, had nothing but glowing remarks for how Arbor has performed with us, and has said in several cases they actually take examples of how Arbor does food service and brings it to other school districts to say this is how you should be doing it. So we're very happy and pleased to recommend Arbor for a renewal in their contract. You'll notice that the increase rate is 2.8%, which is the CPI of food away from home, which is the maximum allowable by law. So that's about what we were expecting.
Okay. Any questions?
I remember 2 years ago, you weren't here, John, but we did a taste testing when we were switching vendors. And I remember just being impressed by the variety of fresh food that was available at this tasting. And anecdotally, just from the menus I'm seeing now, I'm seeing a lot more choices that are, I don't know, I think they're doing a less than optimal job of rotating in some of the more healthy choices. Is there some language in the contract that talks about what they have to have on offer and how often, or anything like that? How does that contract read?
There isn't anything in the contract about that, but there's very specific stipulations from the USDA about what they can offer and the level of everything from the amount of sodium that's in their products to the amount of sugars that they can serve. So I know there's pretty strict nutrition guidelines along that, but there's nothing in the contract that specifically says that. That being said, I'm happy to bring to them the request that there's a little bit more variety and a little bit more. Is there a specific?
Yeah, you know, again, this is anecdotally, and I don't want to make more of this than what it is, which is an anecdote. But so every day there still is a salad bar on offer, right? And a fresh fruit bar, is that still true?
I believe so, yes.
At the middle school.
Okay. I know, I feel like I see like pizza like 1.5 times a week. You know, I mean, just like seeing things that I feel like they could be taking a little bit for, you know, they won our business on the promise of this wonderful, fresh, healthy food, and I feel like it's kind of slipping, and I just wanted to know that we were keeping them to whatever they agreed to. Again, this is anecdotal. You know, I haven't done the stats, like how many times these foods that I would consider suboptimal nutritionally have been on offer, but I just want to make sure we're keeping that in mind.
I'm happy to look into that more and have that conversation with them. They've always been very open about their menu and about whatever requests that we have. I know one thing they'll always talk about, and any food service company would talk about, is they have this dual obligation of following the USDA guidelines for providing healthy foods, and then they also have kids who don't always want the healthy options, so they have to make sales.
If they don't eat it, it doesn't matter.
Right, like you can serve kale every single day, and that would be wonderful for your health, but would be very bad for sales. So we'll have, that being said, I know they're nutritionists, and I know she's very passionate about this, so this would be a very easy conversation to have with them.
That'd be great. Thanks, John.
There is a line item on the renewal agreement for a fresh fruit and vegetable program, which it doesn't look like they've made an offer to, and I don't know if we do that now, but it's not included in the renewal agreement they have here. So is that, it would obviously cost more, I'm sure, but is that an option to add that?
If I'm understanding it correctly, I believe the fresh fruit and vegetable program is actually run through the Department of Defense. So there's certain amounts of, I know, this is fun stuff to learn about.
Sounds like a logical place for it to come from.
The Department of Defense has to buy fruits and veggies for the troops, and then obviously they don't use everything that they buy, and it's also part of the whole farm subsidies program from the federal government. So for some reason, the Department of Defense has the wonderful obligation of doling out the additional food that gets purchased. So I believe that's something I'd look a little bit more into with
I mean,
Arbor.
it might go along with what Chase is saying, so,
When we were at the IASB dinner too, I think the federal regulations were relaxed with the new with the current administration. So I wonder if maybe that's what you're seeing too.
Mhm. I'm happy to look into that and get back to you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, John, does District 127 use Arbor as well?
That's a great question. I don't know for sure.
I'm just curious long-term if there is power in numbers around maybe next time it goes out to bid, which I don't know if they go up for bid at the same time, but it might be worth looking into.
Absolutely, I know that's something that we've broached with District 127 before, because it's more than just food service. There's a variety of services that we can discuss sharing. So that's conversations that we have had, and I know it's discussions Ellen and I have had for next year, is seeing what ways we can try to partner more with 127 on everything from the start with food to the end with the trash service. So and the custodial services as well
Great.
for cleaning it up. So.
Thank you.
I know you'll be hearing more about that in the next year.
Awesome.
Yeah, a good step towards that might be looking into now co-terminating some of the agreements. I mean, that would be, if they're up for renewal at the same time, it's
Mhm.
easier to do that.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Okay. Next up is the discussion on Arbor Management Food Service lunch prices.
So looking at the financials, both from Arbor's perspective and from ours, we feel very comfortable with keeping meal prices the same as they were this year. So we're very happy to hold the line on costs on that front. The only recommendation that Arbor had, and we as a district support, are increasing the prices on some of the a la carte items, chips, cookies, other things, suboptimally nutritionally offered. Just with the increase in costs of just cost of living, CPI going up year over year, and some of the costs of these individually packaged goods, and Arbor having to deliver them and display them and maintain them, we're fine with the minimal increases that they've recommended.
Anybody have any questions? And last we have the discussion of the ESCO alarm service contract.
ESCO Alarm Service comes out and they perform just regular service on our fire alarm systems, just making sure that everything is working and up to code. They've been doing it for several years now. We're pleased to offer you a 3-year contract, a renewal of that at the exact same price that they've been doing it over the last several years. So we're very happy to be keeping things at the same price. That's very rare in this day and age, unfortunately. So we're very pleased with the level of service that they've performed. They've been an excellent partner in our fire alarm systems.
Any questions? Okay. All right, next is topics for future agenda.
So we'll have several action items, our writing curriculum, the Arbor Management Food Services contract, the Arbor Management Food Services lunch prices, including the change in the a la carte items, the ESCO alarm service contract. We'd also like to discuss, or we'll bring an update on the Harger, and then any update on negotiations.
Anybody else have anything they'd like to add?
Possibly paving.
Oh,
Paving?
paving, okay. Well, we'll put it here with a question mark.
We also have waste management is coming up due pretty soon, speaking of trash contracts. And we also have Durham's renewal for transportation contract coming up. So that would be another discussion item for next time.
Do we want to find out about when 127 has their renewal first, or do you want to put it on the discussion?
I would like to put it on as a discussion item, and then I'll reach out to Mr. Zelik at 127
Okay.
too.
The only thing I have is so at the bottom of our agenda is the board agreements. So kind of
Oh,
what we
okay.
worked at in the past to, how we wanted to run things as a board and what we would agree to. So if we can all look at them again at the end of the, in the next 2 weeks, and then bring back any, questions or changes that you may want to kind of work through, just so that we all stay on the same page.
Get that?
At least we can review them when we have them.
I apologize, I had one other thing too, a collection of student fees. I know this was something we talked about a little over a month ago, and I just wanted to bring that around for one more review of where we're at and what we're going to be doing, and just bring the board into the loop on that.
Would that also include the $50 insurance? Just have a discussion about that for the
Absolutely.
Chromebooks?
Okay. Public comments? Dean?
Just wanted to bring up something, just regarding school lunches. So it was something that I had mentioned, just kind of on the side, but I wanted to raise it to the group. With kids who can't pay school lunches, and we end up paying probably the bill as a district, to maybe have some sort of donate button on our website and try to raise awareness, because I feel like there are plenty of families who want to help out.
We are going to have something on our registration for similar issues like that, Kathleen.
Is it,
Okay, next, we do have a closed session that we wanted to go over issues for the district. So can I have a motion to go into closed session?
I'll second.
Weedman,
Aye.
Braden,
Aye.
Mackey,
Aye.
LaCroy,
Aye.
Strack,
Aye?
Mack,
Aye.
Miller. Aye.